この番組はご覧のスポンサーの提供でお送りします。Alrighty, welcome everyone. I'm Teeaboo, and I am here for Owarimonogatari Season 2. Yes, I am aware that it comes before Zoku. Thank you to the almost dozens of people in the comments who let me know that. I got it. It's all good. I just misspoke. It's okay. So, last time on the Monogatari series, I thought Koyomi was a fun time with these fun little short stories with very little bearing on the main plot that were just really cool and interesting and kind of a throwback to the days when we were solving interesting aberration problems without much going on besides that. Just having a nice, peaceful high school life. And then Koyomi got eviscerated by Gaian with a washing pole. Okay. So, our boy Koyomi is now dead, and very thoroughly dead. I mean, like, very thoroughly dead. Chopped up into little meat grinder bits and very dead. And he is awoken. He's awake. Also dead, but awake. In a blank, seemingly endless void of bright, blown-out light with a little tree in it. And he awakens to find himself looking up at a familiar silhouette. A very familiar silhouette of a character who we know is also very, very dead. Hachikuji's here. I don't know where we are. Heaven, hell, purgatory. My bet's on purgatory, honestly, because it just seems empty. It doesn't seem hellish or heavenly, although the bright light kind of gives it a heavenly vibe. But there he is, and there he shall stay until something changes, which is, I assume, the goal here. We probably want to get back and go back to being with Senjogahara and doing ararararagi things and stuff. I don't know. This whole action raises a lot of questions. Like, what are Gaian's motivations here? Because I don't entirely believe that she's the bad guy, necessarily. I don't think that Monogatari really has bad guys, per se. And I get the feeling that she's trying in her own way to work against Oshino Ogi, that darkness that's been seeping in from the edges of the city. But she hasn't told Araragi any of that, and she hasn't told us any of that. Hasn't really been very clear about her motivations, so I'd like to find out some more about that. But I don't think that's going to happen until we get ourselves out of whatever extraplanar space we are currently in. Which is going to be a bit of a tall order, because people don't very frequently come back from death. It's usually final. So, at the very least, we're going to get some cute and fun times with Hachikuji and Arararagi as they, I assume, try to traverse this landscape and find something that would help them get back. I'm also really interested in figuring out or seeing firsthand what the other characters are going to think of this occurrence and what's going to happen. Like, how is Hanakawa going to figure this out? Are the characters going to figure out that Araragi is dead? Because as far as I saw, he turned into little bits of gore and fluttered away. So there isn't exactly a body. He could just be doing dumb Araragi things and had to leave for no reason at all. I don't know. Another curious thing that somebody brought up, I think in the comments, or maybe in the Discord or somewhere, was what's Senjogahara gonna do? Because she has promised on a couple of occasions that she will murderify anybody who murderifies her boy. Can she murderify Gaian? I don't know. I have no idea. This is a bit of a big twisteroonie, and I don't know where it's gonna go from here. So let's watch some Owarimonogatari S2 and maybe find out something or other. I don't know. Yeah, so ORES2, 7 episodes. I have gotten the version of the subs that that my Discord, some wonderful people on my Discord put together. Apparently, there was something weird about the subs that they wanted me to use, which are the TOISHY, Toishi, I don't know. The Toichi subs. Apparently, there was something about them that made them very spoiler heavy for some reason. I don't exactly know what it was. I think it's that they were all titled with the episode titles or arc names or something like that. So they put together a version of those subs that didn't have title spoiler things or whatever else was spoilery, which I greatly appreciate and thank you all. So I am using that version of the subs. If you want to obtain them, I don't know how to do that. Maybe I'll ask somebody in the Discord after I've done this if it's cool if I share the links to those versions because they put it up on Mega and Drive, but I don't know if it would be okay with them to have like a few hundred people go and download it from that site. But I mean, if you've already seen the arc, I assume that there's no problem with spoilers, so you might as well just download the regular Toishi subs from Nya. Just letting you know which version I'm using so that you don't get confused by like, hey, which version are you using? There you go. It's the Toishi subs, which have been despoilerified for my purposes, which I really appreciate. That's the version we're going to use. We're going to watch probably episode 1, maybe episode 2, and we'll talk about them. That's the whole bit. That's the whole point of the channel. All right, so I have episode 1 of Owarimonogatari Season 2 up and ready to go. It is at 0 seconds. There will be 2 versions of this reaction video. You can find a picture-in-picture version with the video up there, linked in the description, and a timer-based version up on YouTube. If you want to sync up your own copy of the Toishi subs to the timer-based version on YouTube, that's what it's there for. You're more than welcome to do so. Just get your copy ready because the beep beep timer to count you down should be coming at you right about now. Well, ooh, ooh, dem digital brushstrokes. Yeah, right. Whoa. It's a big change from Bakeara. And I'm sorry, early Kizu Araragi. Mm-hmm. Right. Sure. Absolutely. Hmm. Hmm. Hey. Yeah, you got that. Hmm. Nothing has changed. Not go home. I guess that makes perfect sense that she would be the one to find when you can't go home. The place she calls home is the place where she can't go home. Hmm. Yep, pretty much every arc. Oh. Kamimashita. Yep. Oh. All right, that's 3 cute, 5 me. Okay. Wait, what? I missed it. I saw hell. That's it. So it's hell? New soundtrack. Yep. Yep. Tosh no the my wall. About that. Whoops. Okay, just recapping for those who may not have watched Koyomi, I suppose. Also, people let me know that the phone was in Aragi's pocket. I made a big hullabaloo about that. It was in his pocket. Because you did. Hey. Gonna turn up the volume slightly. Yeah, absolutely is what I'm picturing. Or I would expect you more to run at her and try to grope her, but okay. Yeah, but you're dead, so. Bullshit. I mean, yeah. Yeah. All of these are past. Oof. Uh-huh. Nani? Rocket. Thank God. Yes. No. No. Oh. Oh. No. Back to the usual. More things change, the more they stay the same. Oh, buddy. Okay. Jump. There we go. That was fucking awesome. Just gonna write down fucking awesome. Yes. Right. Yep. true hell is right here, right? Would see that idol show. This ain't Earth. But you're not at the shrine. Oh. Whoa. Eh? So things can manifest here. Gonna try. Nope, you have passed on too. Shit. Nani? Mm-hmm. So you got bumping house music all the time. I'm sorry. Where have I seen that cut before? Hmm. Becoming a vampire. Saving a demon. I'd go on a hell tour with Hachikuji. Oh boy. Now, why are you in hell? Why? You're so innocent. That's fucking bullshit. Oh. Thanks. That seems real nice. Who told you about it? Guyan told you about it? So this is Hmm. It's all a plan. It's all a plan. Is that the railway? The one from the OP? And yeah, we've switched styles. I think this style has only shown up in OPEDs before, mostly. Okay. Is it to remove the vampirism? No. Oh. You mean Kishara Sarelli Orion Heart Under Blade? And she's gone. What the fuck? With the hard cut on the audio. A way to review past events. Certainly. It's you! Hmm. Hmm. Mm-hmm. Almost no body weight, so she wouldn't have been injured. Of course. So he gets to go through all of these pivotal choices. Would you change anything? Kaiki. I don't like that future. Don't call it a love romance. That's bullshit. Hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Just skipping. Okay. What would you do differently? Nothing. Of course. Absolutely. But it led to. Right. Wow, all the way back then. Would have been omniscient, I think. Hmm. Snail Shadow. Konin na konin des. Delightful chats. Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's perfect. Balance. Yep. This ethereal feeling to everything is amazing. Hmm. It? I want to talk about something else. About what? Black. That is a cool shot. Easy to say. Finally. Whose eye was that? It's been a fucking while, buddy. Bring shame and pain to remember. Right, is there a thingy or nope? That's just the end. Okay. There are a couple of ways that we can come at this. We could talk about the content and the discussions themselves, or start with the aesthetic and visual choices going on here. I think both are really interesting in this episode, and I think that the conversation pieces are going to get more interesting as we move along, as they often do. So instead, I think I want to start with talking about some of the aesthetics. Um, there's some really cool stuff going on. I mean, just like fun and beyond fun and fan service not in like the sexual sense, but in like serving the fans something that they've been wanting for a while, and that comes to bear most obviously in getting to see another Araragi v Hachikuji goofiness, which goes a little bit further than it should, I think. Just IMO, just, okay, a little further than I think, but there was some really amazing things here. Starting with him saying, like, oh, you're probably expecting me to do that, but that Araragi is dead and gone. That Araragi who should be dead is dead. And then he he pulls his own hair. This is just so creative and ridiculous. He falls, stumbles, runs toward her, stumbles, yanks his own hair, becomes a rocket ship, takes off, gleam, and then rockets back to Earth to smash into Hachikuji with the full force of Shaft weirdness going on here. Man, I didn't know how much I missed this until I saw it again, and I really miss it. The cutest things, and then it gets a little too far, a little okay. Alrighty. And the chomp and the wave and the throw him, and oh, it's nice. It's lovely. But before any of that happens, we get the whole opening segment, which is fucking awesome. I love this. I would assume that this is digital brushstroke work on everything, and then the same on Hachi herself. And then I would assume that when there is like close up line work of her, which there is at some point, yeah, it looks like they're taking a smudge and just across all the lines. It gives it this sort of ethereal blur to everything, where the line work is still clear, but then it's got this fuzz over everything that isn't quite a blur. I really like this aesthetic, and I'm gonna file that away for my own purposes in future. And then the neon outlines of Araragi swimming down, 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 losing his air. I don't know if there's deeper meaning to any of it, but it's fascinating. It's fascinating. The other thing that's, I think, noticeable is that there is a bunch of soundtrack music that's unfamiliar, and I think that helps when so many of the Monogatari songs are so familiar at this point, and they have their own sort of vibe to them. Using new soundtrack music that's sort of distant and ethereal creates a very well distant and ethereal and extra planar, to use that word again, sense to everything. It's just a gorgeous sequence. I love it. And then him discussing that maybe vampirism wasn't the most terrible of illnesses. But, oh no, that's not what he's discussing. He's discussing idiocy, foolishness, as being something to be cured. And this makes me think that the plan that Guyan is enacting here, and I think it becomes rather clear that there is a plan being enacted by Guyan, given that she contacted Hachikuji and let her know that, hey, Koyomi's coming. Uh it seems like the plan that has been enacted is something to change him, to change his nature. Whether that's to get rid of his vampirism and turn him into a more normal student, so that I would guess that it has to do with balance, so that Ogi Oshino doesn't have a reason to be in this town, because she seems to be there because Araragi is there, and this came out in some of the discussions that Gaian had with Araragi at the end of Koyomi. But I'm gonna guess that it's something like that. Something like going through this process is a sort of a rebirth, almost a baptism by fire, if you will, that will somehow eliminate some part of Araragi that is causing whatever is going on that causes Ogi to be in town, and enable either defeat her or get rid of her or whatever. I don't know. I don't know. There's a lot I don't know. So that's interesting. And then the conversations that they have as they wander around this very interesting interpretation of the hells. So it is Avicii, and I would assume that if we go and look at oh shit, I just lost it. It's not Paradise Lost, it's in interpretations of hells. Yeah, hell uh poem Dante Inferno. Levels Hell Dante Inferno. Just I want to know. Hell is depicted as 9 concentric circles of torment. Where's the list? 9th circle is treachery. A V. No, doesn't seem to be. Doesn't seem to be from Dante. So okay. I just would have assumed that that would have been the interpretation they were going with. I'm not terribly familiar with various interpretations of hell, so but interesting. So she explains to us that We Are Elsewhere manifests various locations from the series in strange and interesting ways. One thing that also stands out about this episode is that while Shaft has frequently done interesting and impossible things with their background art to create interesting and impossible places that are interesting to look at when the characters are just discussing things that don't have much bearing on the location they're in, but they need to make it look cool, and they do. The fact that they're in this warpable, mutable, moldable space gives them a lot of freedom to do really cool things with it. For example, the entire place at one point has snails everywhere, and there become multiple versions of this one statue, buildings tilted to the side to excellent effect and making everything look very interesting. Huh. So it's that bit about piling up stones on the banks of hell. Okay, I'm actually gonna look that up. Sai no Kawara Jizo, Judges of Hell, Buddhist mythology of hell. So I assume that that's probably where we get Avicii. Oh, and there's a park where children pile up rivers on the banks of or stones on the banks of a river. Okay, I don't want to go too far because I have a feeling there might be something spoilerific in there. But okay. Interesting. Something else that strikes me about this episode is that it's like everything that makes Monogatari has been turned up a notch. From the characterization in the faces to the way the dialogue is flowing, and just all of it feels really good. It feels really natural, and it immediately lulled me into the episode, where sometimes that doesn't happen. Sometimes it takes me a bit to be into it. And maybe this is assisted by the setup from the beginning of Koyomi, where I kind of knew that we were going to be somewhere weird and knew that Hachikuji would be there. But there's something else going on. I don't know what to think about it, but there's a quality to this episode that makes me really excited for what's to come. Um, yeah, I think this is one of the strongest starting episodes of an arc, period. And that's saying a lot, but often it takes me 2 or 3 episodes to really get into an arc. This one, I'm already there. I'm already enjoying it, and a lot of it has to do with the way the dialogue is flowing, I think. I don't know. Becoming bumper cars and bumping, framing her in wonderful colors, seeing all of these familiar locations in unfamiliar ways, and then we change the entire aesthetic to very much the aesthetic that we had in Owari S1's ending, the ED for Owari Season 1. Very cool. It's interesting to see them actually switch that way, and because everything in this space is so mutable and so easy to alter, it doesn't feel unnatural, it just feels right. So then we change gears a little bit and start going through actions that Araragi has taken, actions that maybe he regrets, actions and choices that distinctly altered the flow of his life to save Shinobu, to catch Senjogahara, these critical moments that changed everything. And we sort of glaze over the Kambaru one. That's a different part. Okay. We glaze over Ononoki with a bit of a lampshaded production joke. There just isn't time. Can't do it. Have to make those choices. But all of these moments, Araragi reaffirms that he would have done the same thing regardless. He would not have changed his options. And that's something that's interesting. Like regret and the suffering that comes about due to specific choices may be very real and very valid, but it also may not be enough to make you want whatever the alternative was. I mean, what's the alternative for Araragi if he doesn't save Kiss Shot, if he runs in that moment, if he just... Well, he did run, and then he turned back, right? What if he'd kept running? None of this story would have happened. And none of these amazing things that have happened to him and these amazing relationships that he's formed would have happened. And maybe he would still be that somewhat depressed boy at the beginning of Kizu who believed that he didn't need friends. He's learned so much and taken such a different path. And I think that hmm I think all of that is something that is necessary for us to look at. This feels like the beginning of an ending. And I know that there's Zoku Owari after this, so I don't know if this is the ending, but it feels like the beginning of the ending. It feels like the moment where your protagonist is dead, as he is, and is talking to a godlike figure or an angel, Hachikuji in this case. And the figure is asking him, so what do you regret in life? And Aragi is kind of coming to realize that regret or no, he wouldn't have changed anything. He's glad that he got to this point. And that's kind of a wonderful thing to see and hear. It's kind of lovely. Then later, as they're climbing the stairway, and actually, I must say, this whole sequence with the whales going by and the galaxies behind and the massive manta ray and then the match cut from there to them flying on a giant paper plane. These just strange, interesting, odd, ethereal aesthetics. And then this scene where they're both gigantic, almost harkening back to the massive, almost tokusatsu-esque Senjogahara in the staple. I don't know. In that OP, that's what the feel is with the very slow frame by frame motion as they move. Giant jellyfish. Over here, over here. Pervert is coming this way. It's you. Hanakawa's fault in all sorts of ways, yeah. Reckless shortcuts and impossible detours. The moment of catching. So the fall probably wouldn't have hurt her. How does it feel? How does it feel? And then through to Sengoku. A mistake made in his mind, maybe. But he couldn't have known. And then her as the successor. Yeah. Sanctioned and successor. I assume it's a bit of a pun. Yeah. Isn't included in this 89 spot pilgrimage. Have to balance things out. So then she says, this might be our last talk as we reach the peak here. And he brings the discussion over to a previous discussion with the Fire Sisters, how it's difficult to do the right thing and difficult to perform justice in the world. And then he draws a distinction between doing the right thing and correcting a mistake. I'm really interested in this discussion. I'm not sure that I have anything to directly add to it necessarily, but I think it's interesting. It also, in a weird way, reminds me of one of the recent-ish bits in Sayonara Zetsubou Sensei, where we discuss writing a mistake or revealing a mistake, and it reminds me of Kafka's sort of overly bright, overly rose-tinted view on doing so, that if you just reveal that a mistake was made, it's no longer a mistake. So, Mr. Murderer, tell everybody, and hey, it's perfectly fine now. But it's not. And then this visual comes up. Writing a mistake makes people feel like they're doing the right thing. So if you keep correcting mistakes, would it be a perfect, bright, white justice, right? Is that, what is it? A pure white kind of right. And he says, no, it would be a pure black kind of right. As though ink all over the page, scribbling out the mistakes that were made before. I think this is a really interesting sentiment and an interesting distinction to draw. And I have to say that I absolutely love the visual because we've seen them on like one solitary track, one solitary train track or minecart track or whatever before. And here we see all of the fractal branching paths that could be in a fractal tree. All of these dead ends, all of these possible endings, all of these possible choices and mistakes. It'd be a pitch black kind of right. The thing about that is, like, you can't be expected to make the right choice at the right time every time. Nor is it always possible to go back and correct a mistake. I don't know. The idea of a pitch black kind of right that is still right sort of resonates with me. It feels correct. I don't think that purity and perfection deserve the pedestal we put them on. I think that making mistakes, I mean, it's a truism or even a cliche that, mistakes are inevitable and owning up to them and trying to learn from them is necessary. But it's a truism because it's true. I would rather go through life making mistakes and becoming aware of them and endeavoring to not make those same mistakes in the future, and if possible to shore them up or scribble them out or patch them, but not to forget them, than to go through life never making mistakes and never learning. Interesting. If you go that route, you won't be able to obtain what you really want. Also, the aesthetic of this scene with these sort of gaping moons that are almost smiles, pouring something ethereal out of them. Really interesting, really weird. It's based on the premise that someone else is making the evaluation of what is and is not a mistake, I suppose. Hmm. And there were a lot of, if I remember correctly, there were a lot of frames here. Making many mistakes, having many failures, doing things over, repeating things, hesitating, stamping one's feet in frustration, repeating by trial and error, and beyond loud protests. In the end, ... The only thing you can do is succeed, right? Yeah, if you've gone down all of the branching paths and found that they all end abruptly, then all you can do is eventually find a path that continues forward or die. And then he remembers Oshino. Why couldn't he remember her? I don't know. Was it because of the level of hell that they were in? That seems too on the nose or too straightforward. Isn't that a bit strange? Indeed it is. The most important person in the second half of this year. And then once again we meet. I forget his name. Completely forget his name. But we meet him once more. The dead man who Ononoki killed. Her creator, right? One of the specialists. I would look him up, but I'm sure that there will be spoilers for this portion, so I'm not going to do that. I think the line that I want to hold on to most out of this episode was a pitch black kind of right. Because it seems like it's relevant. Seems like it's interesting. So I'm going to put a number of big old circles around it in a different color. And then scroll my notes down and get myself some extra space. If you haven't noticed, I'm now I purchased a pen tablet for myself, partly because I want to I want to start drawing again. It's been a while since I've like really been honing my craft as an artist, and I'm not a very good one, but I want to start drawing again, and a part of that is just the things that I'm watching. I want to be able to express myself in a visual medium. As well as verbally, as well as in text. But the other thing is that I go through a lot of paper taking notes for shows, like a lot of paper, and I always feel real bad about it. And like typing notes isn't the best thing either. So I decided that I would start using the pen tablet for taking notes as well. And the other thing that's nice about that is that normally when I finish with a page of notes, I just sort of throw it on the floor, and every week or two I gather up all of the pieces of paper on the floor and recycle them. But that means that it's often very difficult for me to find the notes that I took from the last time. This way, with Evernote, I can make myself uh, long, endless streaks of notes that are for each series that I'm watching, and always come back to them and always scroll up and see what I wrote before, which is kind of nice. It's really nice to have a pen tablet. I didn't buy a Wacom. I bought one of the I assume Chinese brands. No, it's not a Huion. It's a Gaomon, Gaomon 16-inch pen tablet. It's nice. It's quite nice, and I've been drawing for a few hours every night, and it's been lovely to get back into the swing of things. And the training that I do have in art is more traditional. It's traditional forms and painting and charcoal, and my preferred medium has always been graphite, has always been pencil. So it's interesting to get to know an entirely new medium and realize the freedom that digital brushwork and digital stuff gives you, because it's kind of fantastic. Um, yeah, it's nice. Anyway, that was totally an aside. I just wanted to point it out because it came up. Okay, so that was Owari S2 episode 1. We are meeting with Guy. I need to know his name at least. We'll find it out. We'll find it out in the middle of next episode, I'm sure. So, I'm going to take a quick break. I'm going to do a resyncy thingy so that we're all synced up for the next episode. And then we will go ahead and dive on into Owari second season episode 2 and we'll see how it goes. See what it is, and if we get massively cliffhanged, then we'll move on from there. If not, then we'll probably just watch these 2 episodes and then leave it where it stands. So, yeah, quick break, resync thing. See you in a moment. Peace. All right, we are all synced up and ready to go for Owari S2 episode 2. Let's check it out. Beep beep timer. Pinwheels, flowers. Of her will, of Gaian's will. All right, please do. Yep. What was that flash? You've already been illuminated, right? That's what she meant. Exactly. With subtraction as well. Hmm. Yeah, please explain. Back to roles and casting and plays. Okay. So, when he was talking about the roles we've been cast in, I thought he meant Ogi was the caster. The casting director, if you will. Who is Gaian? Who's been pulling the strings all this time? The sun in the background with the little Araragi thing. I really like this OP. It's so fucking cute. And it's not as hectic as the first Hachi OP. The wholesomest head pats. Mm. Mayoi hell. Okay, so I caught hell for the first time, but ha. Eh. Ha. No, he's really dead. Oh. Hmm. Speaking of which, where's Oshinomeme right now? My book? Dollmaster, yeah. Sure. Yourself. Again with the brushes. An immortal whose specialty is eliminating the immortal. Outside of Gaian's network. Okay. But who? Is that way? Only in shadow? Hmm. Right, that possibility. Of course. Right. It's your specialty after all. So a ritual to animate the next doll. They often do. It's a very good question. He has some reason to be absent. And so the curtain rose on the farce play. Let's not do that then, but that means leaving Hachi behind. Hmm. What is that thread? I suppose. It would be nice if they told me in advance. Maybe it's part of their act against the enemy. Okay. No way to know from my viewpoint. Right. Dreamspan revives? Oh my god, this soundtrack. A tail? A snake? The snake? Squishy. It's just interesting. I'm just delaying it. To climb this white snake, I'm delaying further and further. I see. The name of the shrine. White water? Hmm. Yeah. So that's where it moved from? Indeed, we have. Hmm. All right. Okay. Certainly. Maintained the hold. Okay. Sumo style. Punching bag. Why? Hmm. You are worthy. You. No, we wouldn't want that. Yep. Yep. Absolutely. Of course. Hmm. Hmm. I'd completely forgotten. True. It's true though. Hey, he's got his own way of rationalizing it. Hmm. Grab that snake tail. It's Gaian pulling him up. I see. Okay. He says with a smile. No. And find out so much. Is there a better time to talk than with your fists? Stack rocks by the banks of hell, probably. Shit. I like that idea. Okay. Each. Hey. Lift off. Too many. Oh, no fucking way. No way! There's no way this works. Ogi. Okay. There's no way that works. That he brings Hachikuji back, but she's been dead for like years and years now. I suppose maybe he'll bring her back in the way that she was before, a wandering spirit? And Gaian is the one pulling him back up, but via what appears to be a snake. Weird. Oh. Okay, so wow, there are like 2.5 minutes left. Back to life. Hi, Gaian. Hi, Shinobu. Just waiting. But that's not Shinobu. Oh, the separation. We get Kiss Shot back? The first time to see Dreamspan being used. Oh, she'll revert. Whoa. Or is she gonna be gone? Like an idol. The spotlights. Ah. Callbacks. Hey, she was worthy. Absolutely. Hey. Hmm. She has both blades. Oh. A pawn I'd been wanting. I think that can be arranged. Honestly. So no time has passed. Or very little. Fuck. Just got back from hell. Straight out of the frying pan into the fire. Okay. Okay. All of my weapons now. But she means people as well as the blades. Waito de. Where a white snake once reigned. Fuck yeah. Okay. Perfect. So, not a super cliffhanger. And I'm going to guess that that is the end of what I now realize is the Mayoi Hell arc. Saw the hell, didn't see the Mayoi. Wow, there was so much to love in this episode. So much to love. So his vampiric nature has been subtracted. What does that mean for his bond with Kiss Shot? Obviously, once he was killed, she reverted to full power Kiss Shot Aurelia Orion Hard Underblade. Like, okay, cool. So she has her entire vampiric essence, and yet she still recognizes him as Wagaruji, as her master. Interesting. So, Heartspan destroys, Dreamspan can revive. Like a cursed and blessed blade. Interesting. Meeting Teori again was kind of wonderful. Getting to have a somewhat less antagonistic conversation with him where he reveals so much more about himself and about where we saw him before is fantastic. All of these elements from previous stories that just seemed like one-off pieces of the puzzle. Well, didn't seem like pieces of the puzzle. That's exactly it. They seemed like their own individual separate puzzles. You realize here that the shape of those puzzles were in themselves puzzle pieces that are now being fit together into a much broader scope of puzzle. And so much has been confirmed. The one who ordered me to kill you was Ogi. So I guess what I was saying earlier that I thought it was Ogi pulling the strings, but really it was Guyan. It was kind of both. It was that Ogi was the individual who approached Teori and asked him to take Araragi and Kishot down, but he was really doing more in the way of working with or for Guyan and Guyan's posse, if you will. So Guyan has collected her weapons. She does strike me as more of the playwright type, collecting pawns, collecting weapons. The fact that the puppeteer was himself a puppet is an interesting twist to things. And I love the visuals that we get of him assuming that the him that is crafting is in and of itself a puppet, crafting a next body for himself for a purpose. It's really interesting, really cool. So to what end exactly are we removing Aragi's vampiric essence or his vampiric nature that's been subtracted? I don't really know. I don't really know. And then there's the conversation about Shirohebe Park and Shirahebe Shrine, and how it's interesting that naming thing, which seems sort of again like a one-off thing, was anything but. It seems to be the source of a lot of the troubles that have been facing the town. That a lake shrine or a sea shrine was moved to a mountaintop. To what end? For what reason? I don't know. And then it was Shirohebe. That park was the location of it. And so much has happened there. Huh. This was a cool episode. I have to say that Araragi going ahead and reaching out, not knowing if it'll ruin everything, but reaching out and grabbing Hachikuji with his legs is it's got to be one of my favorite moments of the show, the whole show. I'm not saying it's my favorite moment, but it's one of my favorite moments because I was really dreading that farewell to Hachikuji, and that turned it all around. It's kind of wonderful. Not a decision that I regret. Mm. Okay, let's skim through this episode. There's a lot that happened here. A lot of wonderful stuff. A full round of explanations. To descend to hell ahead of time was my thing as a professional specialist. I have to say, I love this OP. I assume that there's going to be a new one next episode because I think we're out of this arc. That felt like an arc conclusion, especially given that we got the punchline statement. And she's still piling up rocks there. Dropped out of college, entered this field. So he, in the past, made a mistake. He overstepped and became only a puppet. But a puppet with himself inside, able to create more puppets. It's interesting that they made these puppets out of like drawing figures. You know, they're very recognizably such. It's very cool. Because he had such a special constitution. Contents of the request. Just some beautiful imagery all the way through with these mannequin puppets. And of course the quirk he has of folding things immensely quickly and then dropping them into the box he's sitting on is, I don't know, endlessly entertaining. It's very cool. And these underwater sequences. The fact that we have a representation of Meme coming in, but we don't actually get to see his face makes me think that we're going to see his face soon. I don't know why I feel that way, but I feel like he's going to play a role in Gaian's plans, and I feel like teasing him by only showing his shadow is a setup for him actually showing up and having a hell of a moment. Like, where the fuck have you been for so long? Hey, I don't know, maybe Hanakawa will find him. Maybe that's among the things that she knows. I don't know. And then the puppet versions used as reflections of Ononoki. Very cool looking. Very concerned about a situation. Yeah. Where you would give in entirely to your vampirism, which is exactly what kind of happened. So I contacted Gaian Senpai. You will get toasted in hell. Don't do that. Kill once to reset and resurrect just the human part of my physical body. Then this frame. If so, then it would have been nice if they told me in advance, but if they didn't tell me, it would mean that there was a reason. Yeah. There were circumstances preventing them from telling me. Perhaps it's part of their tactic against the enemy. Makes perfect sense. I love how he's so small and unimposing when he's sitting down, except with the aura that he sort of emits. But when he comes out, he's got the very broad draping robes, and it gives him a lot more size, a lot more. He's how many heads tall is he? It's like 8.5 or 9 heads tall. Gives him this very stretched, very broad aesthetic. It's kind of cool. When the usual would be like 6.5, 7, proportion wise. Oh, I guess a part of it is that he's wearing these shoes with seemingly large platforms on them. So then this white streak from Oblivion comes down. He says this thing is alive, and we show it, and it's scaly. Not white scaled, but golden scaled. Shirohebi, right? A white snake. I wonder then if the whole Nautico thing was necessary for some reason to the plans. For this. Because it does seem to be a snake-like entity that reaches down and grabs him. I hope we get some more explanation on that front. I don't know. Then we have this discussion. You know, is it okay for me to be reborn, for me to be resurrected? There are so many other people out there. It's sort of an imposter syndrome moment for Araragi. Am I really worthy of this? And the answer is yes, and it has to do with the discussion that we had before with mistakes and choices. I think he is worthy, and I don't think he would have been if he hadn't made some of the choices he made. Having Hachikuji flail at him and pummel him, as she's wont to do, but this time to try to drive into him the idea that, no, I respect you, you're worthy. We get a line like that in the OP too, where she says, someone I wanted to be someone like you, or something like that. And it's without context, but I can assume that it is aimed at Araragi. So when we do this, yeah, Shirohebi Park, if you go back to its origin, Hebi, snake, not the insect radical, but the water radical. Hebi, water. Nami. Shirohebi, Shirahebi. Hachikuji being bored by all of this. Cherish Yotsuki on my behalf. I love the way we do like a sumo stance, like goom, goom, goom. Fantastic. Thunk. Thunk, thunk, thunk. Are you tired of it all? Are you trying to give up? You've still got something to do. It's not that I don't want to, it's that I'm not sure I'm worthy. Who are you saying should be? And I said, without thinking, I said you, relating to Hachikuji. That ends up being exactly what's happened. Hey, why not both? And I love how she goes through all of these various perversions. Basically, all girls. Everything about girls. Araragi loves those things, and he needs to be alive to enjoy them. It's just like, wait a sec, that's not exactly what I was going for, but hey, you know, it's convincing. It works. Taratsuru-san. I'd like to talk again. And we get that smile from him. Maybe I'll reincarnate as the child of you and Senjo Gahara-san. I hope so. That sounds good. It sounds weird, though. I don't know if I love that. Yeah, by pushing Hachikuji aside. Then as he goes, 3 shots. Too many times. Too many times to part with her. Hachikuji! Grab. Taking you with me. Huh? And off she goes. A little tiny panty shot in the middle. Up through all of this network of tracks and paths. Straight up. Pulled by a thread. And he tells us, Ogi. Oshino Ogi. And when we return, Kishot is just waiting. Like, if you fuck this shit up. Oh. But it seems like very little time has passed. He didn't have that much time to be taking a detour. So it's only been minutes, maybe hours. I don't know. Well, enough for Kishot to realize what's going on. But she has a connection with him and would have immediately known had that been severed by his death. But not enough for someone like Senjo Gahara to realize. We've got work to do. This whole sequence where she is walking, I want to see. I think it's at 24. No, it's at 12. No, it's mixed. And we're doing every other on the flash. That's cool. It's kind of what it makes me think of is like an idol walking out onto stage with lights blaring down. Fucking awesome. Oh, and then bloodstains on the roof, I assume. Oh no, they're just parts of the roof dipping through. The little wink. The sway. Fuck, these are some sexy ass kiss shots. Kiss shots. As Hachikuji fulfilled the conditions, and it doesn't seem to matter. There'll be a slight advantage, so it works in our favor. And Guyan is no longer opposed to having Hachikuji around. I have all of my weapons now, she says, and it shows us Heartspan and Dreamspan, I assume. But I get the distinct feeling that she means something else. She says this line, "We're launching our counterattack." Fucking awesome. Oh man, this is a hell of a season already. I mean, this is distilled hype and little bits of other things too, but really enjoying it so far. I'm tempted to watch more, but I'm not going to. I've got other things I want to accomplish today. So, here we go. The counterattack against Ogyoshino begins. This is exciting. What form will this counterattack take? I have no idea. But it sure is going to be interesting, and I am sure that Gaia Izuko knows what it's going to be, because she knows everything. But we'll have to see. In any case, I think that's about a wrap for me. So, I've been Teeaboo. This has been Owari S2, episodes 1 and 2. I hope you've enjoyed them as much as I have, and I hope to catch you next time when we watch some more. See you next week. Peace.